This is football. I'm Kevin Clark. Guys, two great guests today. Bijan Robinson. We talk about that. It's Bijan. We go through that at the very top. One of the best running backs in football. He joins us. Awesome, detailed conversation talking about his season, the way he runs, running backs he likes to watch, both current and former. He's on YouTube watching some of the greats. You guys are going to enjoy that. And then Quentin Plair from Chad Powers. He plays Coach Byrd, former UNC walk-on. We talk a little bit about his role, kind of educating people on football on the set, but it sounds like a lot of people know ball on that set. He's also my Americans fan, even though he played at UNC. He's also a Falcons fan. So we had a really good conversation, really charismatic guy, really enjoyed that. This is football. It's presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today, 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ladies and gentlemen, Bijan Robinson. All right, Bijan Robinson is here with Colgate Total. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I want to start here. I'm in Bristol, Connecticut, where ESPN is, and I said I have Bijan Robinson. Everyone said, "Can we get a final ruling on the name?" Now, I watched 10 times the Steve Weish video where you clarified it, but then some people said you've gone back on it. I don't know. How often are people asking you about this since you revealed that some people were mispronouncing your name?
I mean, it's a lot, bro. Like now that in the summer when it all happened,
Yeah.
and this happened like a couple years ago, when I was like telling him how to pronounce my name, and I told him like how my mom pronounces it. But then, for me, like I think I've always said it Bijan, and now people are like trying to like correct me and say like that's not your name, and I'm like, I don't know what my name is then, man. I mean, it's Bijan, Bijan. But I just tell people Bijan, man, and a lot of people call me B anyway. But
There you go.
I just say like it's however you think it sounds good to you.
You could do like people would call you like Mr. Robinson. There's a lot of
Yeah.
ways around it. So they don't, I always, if I'm in broadcasting, if there's a name I'm not totally sure of, I avoid it. I can figure it out. Initials are a big one. Or you could just do, so Junior Seau was famous. He never knew anybody's name. He just called everybody Buddy for his entire career. You become
And it
Buddy.
works. And it works. They're talking about them, so it's cool. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about football. We're a month into the season. Number I just saw, you've topped 100 yards from scrimmage for the fourth straight game. You have generated 174 yards after forcing a missed tackle, which is second in the NFL. Through a month of the season, give me your self scout. When you're watching tape of yourself, what are you seeing that's maybe different or popping?
Yeah, I think well for me, like I still got a lot of work to do. I'm seeing like I saw like a lot of my runs, a lot of my pass catching. There's still like some runs that I missed that I want back. There's definitely some pass plays, some route details that I definitely want back. So, I'm really big on like critiquing myself and
Yeah.
you know, yeah, there's great stuff on the tape. Like it's awesome. Like, that's why God gave me an ability to do stuff like that. But for me, like I'm looking at like the little things that I can clean up. Because yeah, it was the first four games, but for this next stretch, like this is where, it's important to get ready to go for my team and for the offense. And this is where the next step happens. So for me, like I gotta clean up all those little things. So, when the time comes for this next week on Monday night, like it'll all start clicking, it'll all start showing even better.
Yeah, Monday night, obviously against the Bills on ESPN. When you talk about cleaning things up, I think that the common fan would look at it and say, all right, you're watching film and you're seeing, I actually could have cut back this way and gotten an extra 20 yards. Those are the big
Yeah.
things. But then there's the small things that I would not in a million years ever think of. Can you give me an example of like something really small that you're watching in the film that the
Yeah.
common fan would not know that you're looking at?
Yeah, so like for me, my line, they're really good, like really talented. So they open up a lot of holes, but sometimes I get a little antsy when I see the hole open up too quick, and I'll just attack instead of like pressing my angle, pressing my gap, and then exploding into the hole. But like that's one little detail in the run game. I'll set with my eyes, like continue to keep manipulating defenders, slowing them down if they're a fast flow team or if they're a backdoor linebacking team, like make sure I'm in control of their movements. And then in the route game, in the pass game, making sure that I'm taking the right steps, right angles, so Mike can, give me the ball in time. And then I know this is like, a lot. Like it might seem like a lot that I'm doing on the field, but like those are just a little in the pass protection game, like striking on time still, making sure that I'm delivering the contact, delivering the blow instead of, taking it. So there's some little things right there that I got to continue to clean up. But, as the season goes, that's my job is to try to perfect it all.
When you say that you're delivering the blow, do you mean is that kind of what you're talking about? Like the Force Smith tackles part of it, you're so good. I think in college you broke a record for it, and then obviously you have the second most yardage after a Force Smith tackle in the NFL this year.
Yep.
Is that because you're able to kind of time when a guy is going to make contact with you?
Yeah, and I mean, for me, like it's important to break tackles in this league,
Yeah,
but finding quarters like their shoulders and finding ways to manipulate them. Like I'm going one way and then
yeah.
go another way, just to slow their feet down. Like that's the main thing I'm trying to do.
Yeah, it's fascinating. What is the number one running back that you like watching, that you like studying? It doesn't have to be a studying thing because they may not even play like you and you may not be able to glean anything. But like,
Yeah.
who's the guy where you're just like, damn, this is a pleasure to watch?
Well, it's also you mean today or like ever?
Well, we can do today or we can do ever. Let's start with today.
Yeah. So today, I love watching, obviously Christian McCaffrey
Yeah.
because his route detail is very nice. And then another guy, obviously, I like to watch Derrick Henry. I like to see how he
Yeah.
like sets people up, and I love that how he just goes downhill. I know, like
It's crazy.
some of the route or some of the run techniques that he uses. Super simple, but it's very effective. And then like Jonathan Taylor, like I'm always watching him. I've always been watching him. I love how he breaks tackles and gets north and south. So like those are three guys that I watch. Like on Sunday, Saquon, he's the guy I
Yeah.
still watch. And then like for back in the day, like I study a lot of old school running backs, so like LT. So LT is one of the
Yeah.
guys who I consistently look at highlights. I like find his games on YouTube, and then if Barry Sanders has games on there, like I'm looking. So those are some guys who I'm always paying attention to.
LT, as someone who I think I'm maybe a decade older than you, hearing LT described as old school hurts my heart. Makes me feel old. But let's go through it. So you seek out those games on with LT. You seek out those things on YouTube, and then what are you gleaning from that, and what do you just notice about the way that he played?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously he was one of the best breaking tackle running backs in the NFL like history. But you know how
Yeah.
he catch the ball and get north and south and
Hmm.
not look for the play, but he just makes the play happen. And for me, I just love the way that he just attacks defenders. Like that's my main goal is attacking defenders, making them not want to tackle you. And I know back in that day, like dudes are trying to knock your head off. So
Yeah.
different rules back then, but I feel like in today's game, me, making sure that you put fear in defenders' eyes, like they don't want to just they want to move out the way or they might want to whiff. Like that's my main goal, and then just trying to affect them in all different ways in my running style, is what I'm trying to make happen.
You mentioned like the old rules. Being a running back then,
Man,
w-
it was tough.
impossible.
It was tough, man. Like they used to get killed.
It's crazy.
No flags, no nothing. So I'm like, yeah, it's different.
And that was considered soft in relation to like what was going on in the 70s and 60s. Like you
No
read
doubt about
books or interviews from the 60s and the 50s, they were like, no one ever went over the middle of the field. It never happened. Like you would
it.
never do it. You would get killed. You would get killed. And then it was like it opened up a little bit. And then, early 2000s, Brady and Manning started doing it. They changed the rules. But like it is unbelievable to watch even 15 years ago what that sport was like. I can't imagine
No,
the
crazy.
fact that I was watching that being like, this is cool. This is normal. Meanwhile, it's like helmets are flying off. Hey, you mentioned Michael Penix. Tell me something about his game that most people don't know.
He's just very calm, man. Like, nothing really rattles him. So like, and maybe it's a pressure situation or a situation that we're trying to get the ball or hurry up. Like, he's still the same way. And I think it's really good for us because yeah, we're in a hurry a lot of sometimes, but with him just being just relaxed and smooth and calm, like it really helps us out a lot. And for this to be his still technically, I mean, his rookie year, like let's just say
Yeah.
how he's really took information the right way. He's took the coaching the right way, but then how he just plays his game and plays the game in his head is pretty impressive.
This is betting is brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Bet $10, get $100 in bonus bets when you use the code Clark. 21 plus, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we went 2-0 on these types of picks last week. Let's try to go 2-0 again. Let's start in college. College pick last week, Florida. Surprise, they covered and beat Texas. Give me a favorite this weekend. Give me the Oregon Ducks. They're 7.5-point favorites over Indiana. I love Indiana's story. I love Kurt Signetti. I love everything that they're doing. We need more teams like Indiana where they're just getting it done. They don't have all the recruiting resources and all that stuff. They don't have 100 5-stars, but they win. It's really cool. No excuses situation there. That ends temporarily this weekend in Eugene. Dan Lanning has built something. And it's a bunch of future NFL players. It's Dante Moore, who's a really good quarterback who sat for a year after playing for UCLA for 1 year to get in the system. Great coaching staff there. Will Stein is an awesome offensive coordinator. How do you win big in college? You have a bunch of future pros and you coach them well. That's Oregon. They win big this weekend. Give me Oregon 7.5-point favorites. Then in the NFL, how about the Dolphins? 3.5-point dogs at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, to me, going on the road, west to east, to me, they're too banged up. And you've seen that with the offensive line. You've seen that with some of the guys in their defense. At some point, you just run out of bodies. The Dolphins can't exactly hang a banner over this. Not as bad as they seem. Not as bad as they seem. Like, awful collapse last week against the Panthers, but they still, I feel like, have a little bit of fight in them. They're able to win at home. Mike McDaniel makes the case to save his job. Give me the Dolphins, 3.5-point dogs at home over the Chargers. Last time you were on the show, you talked about how you love Roller Coaster Tycoon, and everybody loved that. It went crazy online, and I didn't ask enough about it. So you have the floor. Take me through what you're all about in Roller Coaster Tycoon. What kind of parks are we building? What's your favorite thing to do? Like, you got, let's go deep on this now. Like, Roller Coaster Tycoon for you, how does Bijan Robinson attack Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Bro, the game was fun as heck, first of all. Like, I play it on my phone now. So, like, I played on the computer. Yeah, there's the app for it. So, when I'm, like, in between meetings or just, like, bored, I'll just pull it up on my phone and I'm on it. But bro, I have this like insane build right now that I'm trying to build. But even like with that game, like the creativity really opens up. Like I feel like if people like want to play games like that or a simulation game like that, like, you really start getting creative and you start learning new things. And like I'm doing a business simulator. So, there's like little nuanced stuff that I like to do in my free time when I play games. But yeah, that Roller Coaster Tycoon game is fun, man.
What's the build? What's it called? What's your build called?
It's called Olympus.
Olympus. All right. It's like a Greek theme?
It's a park, like the Olympus Park. And
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I will not lie. It's cool. And
I love that.
Like it's like you play against like different people to see like what they did and like the challenges that they did. So it's a fun game, man.
Oh, I didn't know Roller Coaster Tycoon was multiplayer now. I didn't know. I only know from like 20 years ago. You're just sitting there building like lines and roller coasters.
Yeah.
Now we've leveled up.
Leveled up. Like they got a whole new system for it. So it's fun.
Everybody's talking about the Texas Longhorns this week. Obviously, not the season you guys wanted. Let's say you're magically transported to Austin, Texas, and Sark and Arch and the team. They're saying, what should we do to get this season back on track? What is Bijan Robinson telling them?
Just, stay consistent. Like, continue to keep growing in the coaching. Like, I feel like the mentality sometimes in college football can get a little, screwed with guys getting paid and guys, money and earning just the little nuanced things that college football turned into now. But, it's so important for them now to just, take the coaching away, but just come together as a team, like player led, and, just say like, we have the rest of the season to, still accomplish what we want to accomplish. So it starts today if we want to make that happen or not. And now it has to become extremely player led. Like, they have to be the ones to change the program because a coach can only tell you so much, especially now in college football.
Yeah.
I mean, some kids are getting paid more than the assistant coaches. So like, it's starting to turn like the NFL. So for those kids, like they need to come together as a unit, as one, and make sure that they're taking in control of the rest of the season. So everything else will be, take care of itself.
And what's crazy about it now, and I don't think anybody's really reckoned with it because we're so used to college being your second loss, you're out of the national title picture, right? That's what it was like when we were growing up. Now
Right.
it's like it's NFL-ish.
You can
Second loss,
lose.
you go on a run of 8 straight wins. I mean, Ohio State lost its last regular season game last year, and what matters is making it to January as a playoff team, and then
Yep.
depth. And what's funny now is that there's no depth because of the portal, and so the teams that do have it, they get lucky. But it's like what's going on October 8th or October 5th has
Yeah.
nothing to do with what's going on with January. And I kind of think we're writing some. I mean, even if Penn State wins out. Doesn't matter if they lost to UCLA.
So,
Texas, same deal.
yep.
Like, no one realizes it.
And that's what they got to realize. Like, yeah, they had a loss last week to Florida, but they can't let that tear their season because, like you just said, like 5 years, 6 years ago, like 5 years ago, that's a wrap. Like you're out. But now, like
Yep.
they chance still, and now we're unranked. So like, I feel like that's an even bigger thing because we got to play to deserve what we want. So I think man. We're gonna be all right, man. And this is gonna be a good week, a great week to show it to everybody too. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, here at Omaha Productions, we're big Arch Manning fans, so we're rooting for everybody to turn it around. All right, we do something called Badasses. It's the most badass person you ever played with at any level. Normally, we're in the studio. We got a big old wall of players. When they're a badass, they go on the wall. When we get back to New York, we'll put somebody on the wall for you. Give
Yeah.
me the biggest badass you've ever been around in football.
On my team,
Yep.
man, there's been a lot, man, from high school to college to now. I'll say in college, DeMarvion Overshown
Yeah.
plays for the Cowboys, linebacker for the
Yep.
Cowboys. That dude he's probably he gave me the most competitive time in college, in practice every time. Like he made me a better player. I'll say that.
Wow.
Just
Wow. What just he's just going this tenacity in practice every day.
he never stops. He's extremely athletic. He's a bigger linebacker and that can cover, that can run side to side, that can, you know, just be where you're at every single time. He can cover you really well. But I'll say the Marvin Overshown is the guy
Wow.
that in practice, like we always have these one-on-one head-to-head battles, and he would always like just make me want to just win every single time. Because now, like in NFL, like practices are different, but
Yeah.
back in college, like we used to go after it. And I mean, he was the guy, but man, I appreciate Marvin so much, man. Like I know he got injured, but like
Yeah.
before he got injured, he was killing with the
Yeah.
Cowboys. But he's definitely the guy that I would say like his made me a really a much better player.
Yeah, we had Jeremy Fowler on from ESPN a couple months ago, and he does the top 10 list for the
Yeah,
positions. And he said that there were a lot of people in the league, coaches and GMs said before Overshown got hurt, he was going to be a top 10 at his position guy. Yeah. And nobody, again, sometimes we just forget about guys as soon as they get hurt, but like that's a guy where it's like he's a dude.
yeah. My coach, my running back coach, Michael Petrie, he don't give nobody compliments. Like other opponents, like he because I mean he respects him, but
Yeah.
the Marvin was the only player last year where he went up to him and was like, bro, like you're gonna be the guy, like you just keep on going, like you're gonna be a beast. So like
Wow.
it's pretty
That's
cool.
great.
Pretty
That's
cool.
great. Give me one thing about Atlanta that you've learned since moving there that has either surprised you, that you've embraced. Like, sell me on Atlanta as a city to live in, Bijan.
The people here are extremely nice. Like I know people like they're like Southern hospitality, all that stuff. I went to Austin, so like we weren't really in the South. People are great people though, but the support here is like super amazing. But the people here are like just super nice, man. Like it's like there's not a mean bone in their body. The food here is amazing. I'm about an hour away from like the actual city because we
Yeah.
practice. But when I do go down there, when I have to go down there, like the food is incredible. There's so much to do here. You can find yourself getting into anything. The farmers markets are super cool. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I love about the city, but I would say like the people here are like just super cool, super welcoming, and they'll try to love you with all they can.
Love that. All right. One more thing before we get to what you're doing with Colgate Total. We call it one rep back. You get to take back any play of your career, college or pro, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. You get to redo it and do it better. What are you going with?
I would say my freshman year of college, my second game, I like try to hurdle this dude, and I did a scorpion and almost like broke my neck, like everything.
Oh, no.
Um, but yeah, it that's the play that's gone viral every single year since I've done that. Like it's gone viral every single year. I don't know how people keep on bringing it up, but it's a play that'll probably stick with me forever. So that's probably one play that I'll definitely take back.
Yeah. Do you still try to hurdle guys or were you out of that business as soon as that happened?
No, I mean I've hurdled a couple since then, but
Yeah.
never trying to hurdle somebody standing straight up. That was crazy. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
insane,
you see
bro.
that sometime in college, and you're just like, what? Like, you see guys do it all the time. You're like, come on, man. Like, the
It's
less hurt,
unbelievable.
you can only hurdle a guy when he's closer to the ground. Like, let's
Absolutely.
figure it out.
But yeah, that's
All
the
right,
plan there.
I love that. All right, tell us what you're doing with Colgate Total.
Yeah, so I'm super excited, obviously, to be a partner of Colgate Total, the active prevention system. And for me, like, it's the toothbrush, it's the mouthwash, and it's the toothpaste. And I think this partnership is so important to me, because I take my health so seriously, and especially my teeth, especially, just my oral aspect of my life. So, being here with Colgate, it really does prevent the things that I don't want to happen. And for me, like the toothpaste, the toothbrush, and
Mhm.
all the specs that it has, like I didn't know that it has like 5,000, I think, specs. That's like a thing that I just didn't know about. So that definitely just made my love for it even greater. And it it's so important because like I've always focused on my teeth, and I hate going to the dentist, so I'm trying to do as much as I can to prevent that. So being here with Colgate and for it to fight, all my oral health problems, like it's what I love the most. And then even just like the cavities, I did have a cavity, it prevents all of that. So it's one of the partnerships that I've enjoyed working with. And then even on tomorrow, we have the ad campaign for it on Thursday Night Football coming out. So, I hope everybody, tunes into that, and it's gonna be pretty cool, man.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, Quentin Plair is here. He plays Coach Byrd and Chad Powers for Omaha Productions. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Enjoying the being part of the show.
Of course. All right, I'm going to start here. Chad, Glenn Powell, obviously. Chad
Yeah.
Powers, Texas fan. Steve Zahn, Kentucky guy. I had seen him for years. He got the Kentucky sweatshirt on all the time. You played at UNC. How much trash talk was there on set between the different college fandoms here, Quentin?
Well, yeah, I mean a good amount of trash talk. So you're right. I did play at UNC, but I am actually a gigantic Miami Hurricanes fan. So,
Are you serious?
yes, yes. So I was actually doing a little bit of research on this. I watched a show, and the first one that comes up, you did an interview with Mario Cristobal
I
a
did. I
couple of
did.
weeks ago. So yeah, I was like, oh, this is absolutely the one I got to watch.
Wait, so you played at UNC and so you played in '07. So you were
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
team
Well,
that beat Miami a couple times.
yeah, I've never lost to Miami. A couple of those were begrudging. Like I think we had a 3-9 season. Or I'm sorry, we were 3-8, I believe, at the time, about to play Miami. Miami still had a chance at the ACC championship, and we beat them. And I was sitting there, and I was like, man, I'm really glad for the team. I'm glad for our guys, but like, damn, we just knocked them out of ACC contention. But yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I love UNC. I love all the people that I played with. But Miami's been my team from since I when I started to love the game of football. So
This is unbelievable. I had
yeah.
no idea that we had a sleeper agent on the UNC teams. You could have done more to sabotage him, Quentin.
No, see that I
There
can't
was the
go.
game. There was the game. So '07 was in UNC,
Yeah.
and then '08 was in Dolphin Stadium. That was the one where they won on one of the last plays. There was an interception. It was a tipped interception. It was going to Kane Farkason. I was right behind the end zone. That was a brutal game. But man, I can't believe you were a part of that. Secretly rooting for the Hurricanes. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, it was great. Yeah, people didn't love it at the time, but I do have to say, my head coach was Butch Davis, so
Yes.
got some points there, from the Miami side. And now all jokes aside, I mean, I think for me, playing at North Carolina, it was really a great environment. The guys were just incredible. But I mean, it's hard to go against your childhood team. It really is. So I just, now that I'm done with UNC, I definitely support them and
Yeah.
want them to do well. But my heart's green and orange.
Wow, that is incredible news. All right, so give me your the best moment as far as were there any actors who didn't know about football that you had to teach them? Like, what was
On set.
it like? Yeah, on set, having to be in part, you're an actor, but in part, almost the football educator for some folks.
Yeah, actually, one of the coolest things that I got to do a couple Tuesdays ago, I got to go into the writers' room with
Mm,
Michael Waldron and Love
yeah,
Rocket and just all of the writers, and they just asked me questions about what it was actually like being a college football player, and so storylines that they are preparing in hopes for a season two, and just talk to me about it and go through it, and that was cool because I've never been in a writers' room and I didn't feel intimidated because I knew the subject so well. On set, we had this great company, Game Changing Films, and all
yeah.
those guys, they're all football guys. Like they're all played. One of them was actually at the Falcons training camp this season. So we had like real guy, and I know Glenn has talked about. I think he had people from the Baltimore Ravens chasing him,
Yeah.
defensive line. So they all knew football. We had so many football guys on set. And then obviously when you have something produced by the Mannings, like that's who you go to for football knowledge. So I really just brought what I had to it. And if anybody had a question, I asked them. But we had so many people on set with more knowledge than I got.
Of course. All right, so let's say you're walking on at UNC. Let's say
Yeah.
you go the Chad Powers route. Right now, you put on a little disguise. How would you do it, and how would you do?
I mean, if I were to go back now, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I,
absolutely.
yeah, I'd be very, very bad. My knees are, my knees are shot. I am no longer fast. I might still be quick, but not quick enough. I am bigger now, but I don't know. Maybe I'd be a linebacker, but I'd be a small, slow linebacker. The best I could do is give some motivating speeches at halftime. I don't know how much, and then I've got no endurance anymore. So it'd be 110 and I'm out.
Other than that, though, you do great.
Yeah,
Other
other
than
than
that,
that,
you'd
I'd
be
be a star.
slow. You
You
couldn't
know,
play. You just put all that aside. You'd be wonderful in the
the
Chad
mental
Powers
side though,
role.
I
The
would have the
mental side, yeah, yeah,
confidence.
yeah, 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 exactly. Oh man, why does this show work? Like, just generally, like, what it just is. Let's just say you're out of it. You're not even in the show. You're watching
Yeah.
it, and you're saying this works because why?
Yeah, I think the main thing is the authenticity, Kevin. I think so many times, because this is a sports show, we're all sports fans. So I watch so many sports shows, movies, whatever it is. And a lot of times, and even great movies, I just watched The Replacements the other night. Um, they're not the real logos. So there's a
Right.
little bit of disassociation between it. You have to, Any Given Sunday, incredible movie, but it's what the Miami Sharks or something like that.
Yep.
It's just not the real logos. So the fact that we have the SEC logo, which is, I would say, the most recognized in college football. You have these teams. You start off Georgia versus Oregon, Ole Miss in this most recent episode. Tennessee coming up, all of the, and then back to Georgia again later. I actually probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway, we play those teams, and yeah, and when you can look out and you see these brands that you're familiar with, you see these brands that you come and you watch every Saturday night and you come to love them. it just drops you into the world, and you just feel that much more familiar. And that authenticity on top of just everybody involved loving the sport, loving college football. Glenn loves it. Michael
Yeah.
loves it. And everybody down the line, all of the regulars really had some close tie to it. And so then you just get realistic reads, realistic feelings, and then you just throw this kind of crazy idea on top of it that can be grounded because all these people love the sport and know what they're talking about.
Best football movie of all time. What is it?
Go with Friday Night Lights. I mean, Booby Miles crying in the car, you know, saying I can't buy y'all a house anymore. I can't play football anymore. I think, that raw emotion that Derek Luke had, I think every football player goes through it at some point when they realize,
Yeah.
whether it's from injury and something really tragic like that, or someone like me who just realized like you've reached the end of it. You're no longer going to get to play this sport anymore. I remember in high school after, we lost in the playoffs. And at that point, I didn't know where I was going to go or whether or not I was going to be able to play football anymore. I'm walking back to the car with my dad, who also played football in high school. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get to do this ever again, and I did. But at a point, I wasn't able to. And even if you're Peyton and Eli, there was a point where you were no longer
Yeah.
getting to do the thing that you love anymore. So yeah, that scene alone, and then that movie, and then just I feel like high school football is where it's still pure. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like at least at this point, NIL hasn't gone to high school just yet, but it's still pure back then. And there's just something so pure about like a high school football movie that gets it right, and that one absolutely did.
Absolutely. You mentioned off air that you're a Falcons fan. Give me the scouting report. We had Bijan on earlier, but give me the scouting report of what you think is going to happen the rest of the way with the Falcons.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I had really hoped that the Bucks were going to take a step back, but they're not.
No,
Like
never.
damn
They're just
Baker
so
Mayfield.
consistent. They're
He
so
just
consistent.
he just got the juice. I mean, I feel like,
Yeah.
he went to the Browns and had some rough thing bounce around, but now he's really found himself with the Bucks. And so yeah, I think the thing that people don't realize about the Falcons is how great their defense is. And so they're built in the trenches, kind of like my school, Miami. They're built in the trenches. And so they really are solid. And then, I mean, Bijan, I think he's the best running back in the NFL right now. Maybe him and Saquon, depending on how you got it. But like just pure talent, how quick he is, the age, like he's such an elite player. But you got a first year starting quarterback in Penix. I hope they bring it together. I hope injuries doesn't, pull them away, get one of those wild card spots, or get the division, be able to beat the Bucks head up. But they're a good team, and it's good. I was loving that one year where we went to the Super Bowl and
Yeah.
Tom Brady came back and got it. But
Oh,
this team, I think, is probably the best team since that year. So
wow.
yeah.
I praise. All right, we'll get you out here on this. We do something called badasses, and it's the most badass person you ever played with. Now, obviously, it's probably going to be someone at UNC, but it can be any level of football. Just the guy who I always just say, when people ask me to define it, alien comes down and says, "Take me to the football player." You bring him to this guy, the guy who was a psychopath, the guy who just wanted to hit people, the guy who played through injuries. Doesn't matter. Where are you
Uh-huh.
going, Quentin?
Okay. So you threw in the alien thing, so I've got to make it two people. The person I would take to an alien, be like, hey, this is a football guy. Hakeem Nicks. He was
Yeah.
just to my eyes that I had seen at that point, just the baddest guy to touch a football. Like the things that he did on a football field. We were playing West Virginia in one of the bowl games, and I remember, well, he had already had this
Yeah.
helmet catch on Duke that
Yep.
won the game before. And then we're playing West Virginia. He's running a crosser route, and he catches the ball behind his back and then flips it around and spins off. And the linebacker at the end is just like looking at like, how did this guy do this, right? But if I got to go like true badass, not necessarily in the way that Hakeem was, because he was just so elite on the field. There was this guy, Ryan Taylor, a tight end
There's the
at UNC.
Packers.
Yes, I was gonna say ended up going to the league playing with the Packers. And this guy, I mean, Saturday nights, Sunday nights, Monday nights, out drinking, just drunk, knocked out drunk. He would be in there the next day, early morning, probably come straight from the bars, smelling like alcohol, wafting everything. You could just smell it off of him, killing everybody on all of the runs. Just never lost, and just would leave the smell of alcohol coming behind him, and you're running through it. Like, and I would just always be like, how is this guy drunk and just destroying all of it? And he's a tight end, so he shouldn't even be outrunning us as DB. Yeah, so Ryan, and he was tough too, run down on kickoff and just blow somebody up. He's just one of those guys made to play football, made to be tough, made to live life to the fullest and do it all together. So yeah, the two of them.
Incredible. All right, Quentin, Chad Powers is the show. Coach Byrd is the role. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.